Be a wine drunk winner this weekend as NASCAR gets twisted at Sonoma Raceway. We get you set from a gambling perspective next, right here on the Backroad.
I don't drive a Monte Carlo, and my truck ain't painted black. It ain't got a big white number 3 turning left around the track.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? If you can believe it, it's a Thursday once again, and that means we are back for the Backroad. Elliot Hicks and Seth Woolcock to break down what was a fun weekend at San Diego. And Seth, we are back on the road this week. Last road course of the year already at Sonoma Raceway.
Yeah, I couldn't think of a better weekend to do it, my friend. Coming off what a sensational weekend NASCAR and the entire motorsports world had out there in the great city of San Diego. So thankful for that. Thankful for my 10-year reunion, high school reunion happening this weekend up in the great state of or town of Kane. I know you got to visit that wonderful little place here earlier this year. So really good vibes heading into the weekend. I know people will be getting tossed and turned on some wine out there in the Napa Valley. And I know I'll also be getting twisted and turned probably on some Busch Lights this weekend as well, my friend.
Wouldn't surprise me one bit, Seth. And hey, we've got the Little Corners of Pennsylvania. I don't know if you're following this. I think it's the Freddie guy for the World Cup on Twitter. Dipped into Pennsylvania, and he's like traveling all the states and stuff. And where he was at, you know, he may have dipped into Kane a little bit. I'm sure he would enjoy it if he were to go there. But anyway, as much as we're all enjoying the World Cup, we're enjoying NASCAR just a little bit more because that's what we do here. We will look back in the rear view at the weekend that was at San Diego Naval Base Coronado. Tons of fun. As great as Pocono was, it would have been cool to double down and head out there, but that's a little too exclusive for us probably. Anyway, San Diego was fun. We'll look back at it. Sonoma will be fun too. We'll break it down in the horizon forecast and then put in our best bets for the weekend in wine country in the parking garage props. We appreciate you guys tuning in. The best way to support us, give this video a thumbs up, give it a like, subscribe to this channel, give it a share to your friends, throw in some comments. We'll throw out some commenters throughout the show. Ask questions, throw in bets that you found. Comment on our bets. Tell Seth his bets suck because usually they do. No, I'm just kidding. We've been doing pretty well, as we'll discuss. But anyway, some more information as well to be shared on all the channel moving that we've had going on. This is the place for racing content, though, Seth.
Yeah, it certainly is. The FSAN Fantasy Racing Advice Network. That's where you can find all the Backroads content right there, shifting over there. Same channel, same place. Of course, we have, leveled up here. New home, bigger plans, same family, though, right, Ellie? That's kind of the tagline for us heading into the back half of 2026. Merging with FSAN, being sellouts, and really excited for it, man, because the IBT podcast, that's going over to the FSAN Fantasy Football Advice Network, and have honestly seen a really nice audio listener jump. So to anyone who's been listening to the IBT podcast on the audio front lately, we really appreciate that. Again, Backroad staying here at the FSAN Fantasy Racing Advice Network, and the 19th hole also on its own channel as well, the FSAN Fantasy Golf Advice Network. Jake, Steve, everyone between Keith and Mike also doing a really good job over there. And then, of course, we have Popcorn Root Beer, which is actually going to stay on the old In Between Media channel. That has become the racing channel. We now have another In Between Media channel. That was our entertainment channel. So we're going to have a new show coming out there as well. So if you're into entertainment gambling, whether that's gambling on award shows, gambling on Survivor 50, Big Brother, or any of the other markets like Rotten Tomatoes over-unders, streams for iTunes and for Spotify every single week. We have that coming your way too. So a lot of fun stuff happening. But if you're just here for the NASCAR, you're in the right place to be. But make sure you subscribe to help the channel. And also make sure you subscribe to the Fantasy Sports Advice Network HQ channel right here. It's got about 19,000 subscribers. We're trying to get that to 20,000 as quick as we can. But we'll also have some exclusive content, some one-off shows coming out over there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Great future incoming. It's nice we're still able to keep the in-between media brand for the entertainment stuff because Steve and them, they do a great job over there. And like you said, the football pod that you guys do, the golf stuff, Jake and the crew over there, it really is all great. And this is just a great opportunity to continue leveling up. I like that you threw that phrase in there because that's really what this is. It's change, but it's leveling up. And it's going to be really fun to be intertwined with the FSAN gang.
Hey, man, every business men and women out there, part of why you do this is because eventually you hope that you can build a brand that someone believes in enough to buy you out. And that's what this is all about here. And it's working with great people. And the best way we can bring you more content and higher level content is by going with a bigger network here. So we really appreciate FSAN, Tyler Bradley and the crew over there. So good stuff coming here. And also some good stuff happening in the chat right now, Elliot. We have, of course, hell or high water, or boy Marcus going with his man Christopher Bell. The fade worked last week, Marcus. I'm sorry I faded him to oblivion. Brett Cruz needs to find his gearbox a little bit, maybe, or find out what's going on there. We also have Jamie checking in saying hi from Lake Norman, North Carolina. I love Lake Norman, man. I love the bar up there, right on the water. So always good times there for my
I love Jamie throwing in there where he says, face reality, Marcus. And not because of anything Marcus does, but because I can identify with Marcus, because there's still a little piece of me every weekend that's like, well, that 48 car might win the race, even though 32 out of 36 weekends, there's 0% chance of that happening. So I can identify with that. Jamie admitting that too. My driver is Joey, and I know he won't win this week. I have some hope, man, but I appreciate your realism and appreciate you checking in as well.
Yeah, we certainly do. And Marcus, unfortunately, no opportunities to fade Christopher Bell this week on the card, just because the books won't put any matchups out there. The call-she odds for him to not finish top 10, not finish top 20, juice beyond repair. So we'll keep that off the card this week, but hopefully next week we're right back to it, man.
And fingers crossed. And hey, speaking of more content, we're still throwing out shorts on this channel each and every week, and we'll have a bonus episode coming out before the weekend starts, breaking down every matchup of the in-season challenge. So take a look out for that. Probably tomorrow we'll have that up, I imagine, and we'll break down the in-season challenge with, we're going to break down each region of the bracket, give some outrights, tell you how it's going to work this year. So that's going to be a separate show. We're not really going to touch on that in the main Backroad tonight.
Yeah, I completely agree. Excited for that. We'll be recording that right after this episode. That will be out sometime in the morning on Friday. So if you're a Friday watcher of this particular program, make sure you check out that show. Elliot and I will have a couple head-to-head bets that we're not giving out tonight that we're giving out for those tournament plays. So those will be in there. I also have some outrights, and we're both going to pretty much break down this tournament. We're going to give our bracket picks because apparently you can win $1 million. Although I'm sure it's one of those things. It's like, you get a chance at winning $1 million, and it's real small in the font that no one reads, right?
Yeah, man, I'm not sure. I'll leave the contest to those people, and I'll leave the IBT stuff and the FSAN stuff right here, which we're going to go ahead and kick that off and take a look back in the rear view from San Diego.
Baby, that's how you do it. Thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome. You are the man. No way! We did it! Yeah!
Man, before we even touch on the racing from San Diego and Naval Base Coronado, just was such a cool weekend, great atmosphere, fun little track for drivers to get around, just an all-timer of a weekend for sure.
Oh my goodness, Elliot. I would love to visit California. A couple things in particular are legal out there that I do enjoy quite a bit. And I'll tell you what, though, I wouldn't even need it out there because I would just be on a high all on my own, man, because that just looked so scenic. Everything they did, from interviewing some of the men and women sailors out there to just capturing that picturesque view out there in Coronado, was wonderful. I know our guy Tony from the IBT Racing family, he was out there updating. I know the lines were a little bit long, especially on Saturday, some food shortages and things like that. But hey, like those are small things in comparison to what we are just able to do. Maybe one of the coolest weekends of all time. And I kept saying it out loud, even after my betting card, my fantasy lineup had gone to shame there very quickly because of Austin Hill. I just kept saying, this is so cool. This is so freaking cool. And it turned into a great race on Sunday too.
Yeah, absolutely. Whether it's one and done or not, we'll have to see, but it made for some great racing too. And we have to start with the Cup race. Of course, when chaos struck, took out SVG and Zilisch, Austin Hill, maybe not the best move there. But either way, it blew the race wide open.
Oh.
Corey Heim, believe it or not, able to get the win, outdueling his teammate Tyler Reddick. And in just his 13th start, gets his first career win. I mean, we know Corey Heim's a talented driver. We know that we were looking ahead to next year being full-time in the series, thinking he would probably be a threat for wins, threat to make the chase for sure. Wasn't expecting he and Booty Barker and the crew to pull off a win while he was still part-time in the 67. Really cool to see that come through.
I mean, it absolutely was, man. And Corey Heim, and shout out to whoever it was. I think it might have been Drew last week who said, hey, look at Corey Heim for a top 10. This is the guy who's going to have real speed. I ended up subbing him out in my fantasy lineup for Austin Hill last week and a bunch of my DFS plays too. So that did not go well when I saw Hill speed, Hill winning on Saturday. However, like this is something from Corey Heim. Like we got to take notice, man, because I mean, this year, I know we bet the Ty Gibbs season win total. I think you were on a Carson Hocevar as well. Like usually it does take to that, close to 100 races. I know Denny came out in his podcast, said, hey, 100 races are for losers. But, one of his own drivers, Bubba Wallace, almost just went on a 100 race gap between hit a couple wins there. So to get this done in your 13th overall Cup Series start at a place where you went out and earned it fair and square, like, yes, Reddick might have had something for him if that tire didn't blow. But still, he was making it hard on Reddick. He got to the outside fair and square. I really appreciate Reddick kind of checking up on him, letting him, get that spot just because he did kind of run him wide there, did door him a little bit. And this is a guy who, Elliot, I was on nearly 11-1 outright ticket on Tyler Reddick. And even though it didn't come to the window, we end up in the red because of that. I'm okay with it because at the end of the day, Corey Heim's a deserving winner, and it was definitely Heim time, my friend, over the weekend.
Yeah, it really was. That had to have been tough, though, with the outright ticket to see him. He didn't hand the win to Heim, but he definitely could have, and maybe with drivers who weren't teammates, would have raced him a little harder.
Mm-hmm.
Not exactly how it went. If it was that 77 up there before Heim kind of got into him and knocked him out of the way, I'm sure that would have gone a lot differently. That is going to be a rivalry in particular that is going to be exciting to watch with Heim going full time. In terms of the card, I see you have a lot of cup bets that hit. I had a couple as well. Still, we were kind of both in the red this week. For me, it was because I should have had more unit share on Austin Green, but we'll talk about O'Reilly in a minute. I had the Allmendinger top 10 hit. He had a top 5 even, so I could have bet that, but the minus 105 on the top 10, not bad. And then I'm still on a hot streak with matchups, which makes me feel good going into the in-season challenge where it's all matchups. I hit the 17 over the 24 at plus 120, and then the 71 over the 45, thanks to that late race tire issue at plus 155 on the cup side.
Hey, good on you for a couple of those, man. I need to keep coming on the Austin Green. I've been sitting here and just marveling at your gambling on that young man over the past 12 or 14 or so months. And for me, like barely in the red, my issue is like I finally laddered a couple guys up from juice top 10 into like a nice 2-1 top 5, and that just wasn't the week for it, right? So we got the McNasty top 10 minus 150 for 2 units. Ryan Blaney top 10 plus 180 became a sweater at the end. Was not a sweater most of the day. He had some real speed once again on a road course. We'll never see that number for him. I don't think ever again on a road course. He's like minus 180 this week. Chase Briscoe minus 125 against Christopher Bell, 2.5 units. That was great. Not a sweater at all. And then Chris Bell top 20. I went on the no side of that at Cowshe plus 101, a unit and a half down. Regret not betting that harder with Brent Cruz. The information he was going to get in the car already out there. Again, heartbreaker on the Reddick top 5 and also on the top 10 there in the Cup Series. Those would have definitely put me in the green, as well as some bets on Saturday that looked like they were going to come through.
Yeah, Saturday we had that chaotic mid-race deal as well. Sam Mayer just flat out misses the corner. Very similar wreck to the Austin Hill, but off the inside wall and then tearing up a bunch of cars there. But one of those cars that got torn up, I mean, did you see the side of Austin Hill's car? Just all the duct tape over the number, basically. He was able to win the race because of late race shenanigans between Taylor Gray and Carson Kvapil, where Kvapil, dominant car there at the end. Gray kind of catches him and kind of just wipes him out. So Kvapil ends up getting knocked back. It gives Hill the opportunity to catch up. And, I mean, I feel like a lot of us were really rooting hard for Austin Hill. That was normally an Austin Hill type of move to go and dump somebody, but this time rooting for Hill to get up there and knock out the guy who knocked out a guy who we're kind of all rooting for to get the first win. It was just unnecessary from Taylor Gray.
It certainly was, and Taylor Gray's been on the recipient side of this. How many times, especially like Christian Eckes, you can call him up a time or two for what he's done, and even since he's been with Joe Gibbs Racing right here in the O'Reilly Series. So it stinks that he kind of had to get that chippy of a move. It feels like Carson Kvapil, the win is coming, right? Like, when is it coming? I don't know. But he continues to show speed in different varieties of his racing, whether it's on road courses, whether it's, of course, his short track background. So you like the speed you saw. You hate what Taylor Gray did. He kind of got what he deserved for once. Austin Hill, kind of had to go up there and be the bully to do it. But only bet I hit there on Saturday. Little Parker Retzloff top 10 plus 228 at Kalshi, half a unit for that. Was way too high on William Sawalich, but didn't really have a shot with him. He got, caught up in that big wreck in the middle of that race too. So it was kind of over pretty quickly for him, even though he had top 10 speed. So certainly a bummer there. But hey, Slim Jim, man, I don't think we can look past him and his storyline, Ellie. He goes out there and legitimately running leading laps yet again for 2 weeks in a row, qualifies on the outside front row. So Slim Jim, all of a sudden, I was trying to get back invested with him today, but every time I hit anything on him for a top 10, he was going from like a plus 180 down to like a minus 200 when I was trying to get any unit share on it.
Yeah, I'm hoping there's a book that throws out the O'Reilly top 10s again, because I'm still kind of wait and see. I think we both are on the O'Reilly side.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, I mean, Sawalich did have the speed. We were keeping an eye on him because I had him on the Austin Green group bet, which ends up being Harrison Burton, the sweat there. They're both running very close. I'm watching the race for the win. And I'm also keeping my eye on 9th and 10th because that's where Austin Green and Harrison Burton are racing. But I did hit the top 10 at plus 125 for Green and the plus 200 group winner. And that was, I mean, it just shows what a badass that he is on these road courses. Gets involved in that crash, gets knocked to the back. It was Cruz before his car got too damaged. Somebody else that was really good, maybe even Hill and Green that got knocked back having to repair, because you couldn't. Normally when guys sit on pit road for a while and you have to repair a car under yellow, you come out a little later, you catch back up to the back of the field. When there's a 3.4 mile road course, it's hard to catch up to the back of the field. So they kind of needed that yellow to get back up there. Then he has a flat tire, comes all the way back to the top 10 anyway. The Corey Day thing, I don't know if we want to chat about that at all. Ends up going to a backup car, manhole cover, sewer cover, blows off of the track, goes through his radiator. They let him repair it. They got it repaired during the red flag time, and then they let him get all 4 of his laps back running around the course while everyone else was, piddling around under caution. I think they did the right thing. I don't know if it's a precedent you want to set, but given the situation, Day, they did the right thing, let him fix up his car. It's top 10 at the end of the day.
Yeah, it was super annoying, especially because then he didn't even get back to the entire pack that final lap around. He was still like, I was kind of watching him on the chart there. Like, was he going to get back to it? He wasn't. He was like at least on the front stretch going towards the pack. But crazy situation there. I finally sit down live for an O'Reilly Series race for what feels like the first time in a couple of weeks with how busy everything's been. I'm usually at least an hour late to that. And I finally sat down live. And all of a sudden we get about an hour delay. So that wasn't great for viewing, I'm sure. And then we get about another 45-minute red flag after that big wreck in the middle of that thing. But like, these things happen, right? Like, I think they made a good point on the broadcast. Like, even when we were F1 racing in Sin City a year or two ago, we saw this kind of same situation. So I think going back around, making sure this wasn't going to be an issue for the rest of this race or on Sunday, what was the right move. And hey, hopefully people just got to bomb a couple more beers because I was sat down. I had a couple more Busch Light apples and a nice steak salad to boot as I was waiting for this thing to go back green.
Another thing really cool about that first win for Richard Childress Racing post Kyle Busch and his passing. So that was really cool, really emotional celebration there. Before we get to a couple comments, we'll talk about the truck race. Tyler Reif in that Nice 42 ends up, he came so close to winning that race after that last restart. You have the misfortune between Chandler Smith and Caden Honeycutt. Reif was probably going to win that race, misses that last chicane just barely. I mean, Lane Riggs was hounding him. He may have been able to pass him fair and square or with another extra bump on that 34 truck. But Lane Riggs, a.k.a. Lane van Gisbergen, gets him done. I don't know if you heard him say that in the post, but that was super entertaining. He is 2 for 2 on street courses. I don't really know why I didn't go along on an outright or any bets on Riggs. Both of my truck bets, the Mosack top 10, he ends up wrecking the truck again. That didn't work out. And then I had Enfinger over Adam Andretti, and Enfinger was running way better and had a mechanical issue. So that didn't work either. It looks like you went over on the truck side, but one of the bets I was almost clowning you for, you came about that close to hitting it.
Oh man, what a frustrating night this was. And the reason you weren't betting Lane Riggs is like there wasn't a ton of value out there in the outrights for him. Like, you know, he there's co-favorites out there, and if you didn't want to take one of the co-favorites, then you can take some long shots. And that's what I decided to do in that top 10, top 5 market, Mini Tyrell. And you know, wasn't racing for a lot of the, you know, well, and had a lot of speed for much of this. He was, you know, back there in 20th plus, but slowly started to get better as the runs were going longer, and then hit the strategy just right. He was top 10 for the majority of that last stage there. On the whole last lap, he was top 10. And of course, like, we're not seeing this on Fox. So all I see is him go from 10th to 11th when they cross the line. So it was pretty close, I think, between him and whoever passed him. But that was disappointing. That would have been another thing, got me on the green, into the green that weekend, plus 840 on Mini Tyrell. But hey, he's another guy. And we go back. I don't know if we have any truck series road courses the rest of the way, but even next season, take a little long shot sprinkle over there in the prediction markets on Mini Tyrell. So I was happy about that. I was on that Caden Honeycutt juice as hell top 10, way too juiced of a number to play at a street course like that anything can happen. Fuckery is afoot, of course. However, Caden Honeycutt, maybe he probably deserved to win that race. On, if we're just talking speed, he was definitely fast. I know we had a lot of people in the IBT family who were riding, you know, some parlay action and also some straight bets there on Caden Honeycutt. So he continues to impress on road courses.
Yeah, it was just, the unfortunate thing is we barely even know what happened because the Fox broadcast sees Chandler Smith spin and just sits on his parked truck for about 30 seconds while the battle for the win is going on, but that's neither here nor there.
Andrew saying he blew a Lewis top 5, parlaying it with SVG outright. Oh, that was probably a big ticket alone, man. Oh, that's tough. That is tough.
Yeah, man. Lewis Hamilton, he won that race, didn't he?
Yeah. Oh, I think is that what you said? Yeah, I guess it was. Okay, that is. Yep. Lewis won that race. Raja still winless as well. You must have placed that. You must place that bet early if you had a Lewis top 5, because I think that was 2 weeks ago. It was almost Lewis, unless that was. Did one of the Lewises in the O'Reilly? Is there a Lewis in the O'Reilly series? Did he get a top 5? Maybe is that what he's referring to?
No, I think it was Lewis Hamilton, but Landon Lewis. Oh,
yeah, okay.
There's a Lewis. You're right.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
That was again Nice Motorsport. Really good run with Rife almost winning. Lewis ends up in the top 5. You're right. I got to get used to these part-time guys. Jamie asking about the silly season there. Will Sawalich remain in O'Reilly? And it's, you know, we love to put on the silly season hat. It's tough to say right now. Carson Hocevar actually kind of touched on this when he guest hosted the Dale Jr. Download, that we're almost getting to a point on the Cup side where upward mobility is going to be kind of tough for quite some time. You have a couple more rides that are going to shake out, a couple more drivers probably going to get replaced, but then you kind of have your lineup locked down. I mean, once Denny retires, once we figure out what's going on in the 48, front row might shake things around a little bit. It's going to be kind of tough. Sawalich, though, one of those guys, if he does stay on that 18, there's nothing that says he won't, but it'll be exciting to see him continue to develop down there. Yeah,
I think William Sawalich is safe for another year at JGR, if not more, right? This is a guy who has a lot of funding. This is also a cat who's gone out there, and he's ran better at the ovals. He's been a predator, a guy who's, you know, been tracking down the pack at some road courses when he can stay out of trouble. And he also has a win.
Rockingham. Yeah,
he has a win, dude. Like, yeah, so I think he's definitely coming back. Like, I don't think they don't take the gamble on someone like William Sawalich and expect crazy huge results right away. Like, he was a developmental driver. He's in the Toyota pipeline. They're getting paid a lot of money to put that guy in the car. So unless someone else is going to, you know, back up the Brinks truck for one of those rides, I don't see Sawalich losing it anytime soon.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So San Diego, really fun event out there. I'm glad it happened, and hopefully we're able to go back and do it again sometime. Seth, we also want to talk about some fun events that are going to be ongoing in, you know, about a month's time in Canton, Ohio.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, Elliot. If you guys are free right now, July 25th, consider getting yourself a ticket to Draft Night Out. That's our live fantasy football draft at the Fantasy Football Expo in Canton, Ohio. We're going to be hanging out at Jerseys once again. Elliot, you were there last time. It's all about good vibes, good people, and good draft picks. So if you want to come draft with ourselves and 200 of our closest fantasy football friends, this is the event for you. Of course, we'll be talking NFL betting there. We'll be talking shop with everyone. We're going to have a shot wheel spinning. Songs will be a singing. Giveaways going off. Everything in between happening right out there. And also, if you can make it for the entire weekend, we're also running a hashtag Weekender special right now where you can get 10% off when you get tickets to both Draft Night Out and the IBT Classic, our golf scramble for the day before. So looking forward to that. I know I've been hitting the sticks, not the best so far this summer, Elliot, but looking forward to hopefully putting the game out there into overdrive. So again, go to the In Between Media website, in-betweenmedia.com/shop. That's going to take you to all our events and our tickets for that. But biggest events of the year, draft night out. It's going to be a ton of fun, as well as the IBT Classic. So if you're one of our PA listeners, if you're one of our Ohio listeners, Indiana, somewhere out in that corridor, or heck, if you're out elsewhere, want to go see what's going on out at like Eldora or something for the weekend, I don't know. Take a little spin out there to Canton, Ohio, baby.
Yeah, man. Fantasy Football Expo, one of the best times of the year for fantasy sports, and all the content creators meet up there, able to chop it up, get some collaboration going. A lot of fun last year, going to be even more fun this year, and hopefully you guys can join us out there.
Let's do it.
All right, speaking of let's do it, let's go ahead and start to look ahead to Sonoma in the horizon forecast. Nothing too fun on the Cup side, just your typical 36 drivers on the entry list. Did you see this with Denny Hamlin, that during the race, you can send an email to that Yahoo email address? What is that? yodenny11@yahoo.com.
Okay.
And I don't remember what's going to happen with it, but I'm sure they're going to share the best responses and stuff like that. That definitely opens a can of worms, especially if he doesn't have a good day. But in any case, 36 in the Cup entry list. For the O'Reilly Series, 38 over there, so everybody makes the field. Got the shuffling with JRM. Connor Zilisch is in the 1. Shane van Gisbergen is in the 9. Carson Kvapil, his last race of the year, in the 91. So keep an eye on that when you're thinking of betting as well. Ross Chastain has been a guy that has run a lot of lower series races this year. He's in the 32. Jordan Anderson Racing has said this is his final start of the year in the 32. And we heard on the broadcast Friday, he's also supposedly out of truck races for the year. So Chastain, we saw him a lot in the trucks. We've seen him a good bit in O'Reilly. Seems like that is starting to slow down as the season winds down a little bit, goes through the big summer stretch, whatever you want to call it. So something else to keep in mind, there'll be one less bushwhacker, so to speak, in the field for some of those races. Schedule on Friday, you have the O'Reilly practice and qualifying at 4 p.m. Eastern. ARCA West at 6:30 on Flow if you're really jonesing for some racing. Saturday, Cup practice and qualifying at 2 p.m. Remember, with the series moving out of Prime and Fox onto TNT and then NBC, USA the rest of the year, this is the inflection point where to see practice and qualifying, you're now going to go to either True TV most weeks or stream it on HBO Max. So that's the move for the rest of the year. We had that split last year. Keep that in mind if you're looking for P&Q on your stream or TV broadcast, whatever. CW, though, for the O'Reilly Series, that stays the same all year. And at 5:30 Eastern, the Pit Boss Food Max 250. Stage lengths 20, 25, and 34. Then on Sunday, the Toyota Save Mart 350 Cup Race, 3:30 on TNT. Also streaming on Max, 25, 30, and 55-year stage lengths there. Sonoma, I mean, we've had all these great road courses over the years. The Chicago street courses come in. We ran Road America for a little bit, Mexico City. But back in the day, the two road courses we ran were Watkins Glen and Sonoma. So we are very familiar with this 1.99-mile, 12-turn road course. Primary comps are those traditional road courses, Watkins Glen, and then Circuit of the Americas, also purpose-built road course that we've been to a whole bunch now. Secondary, I'm thinking the tracks that we haven't been to as much, San Diego being last week, we can use it as a comp. You have the Roval as well with some data. And then maybe even looking back at that Mexico race if you're really trying to pull some good numbers that make the driver you're trying to bet on look good, I guess.
Yeah, even Chicago too. Like I know we have like the tiniest bit of Chicago data kind of in the model as well. Just kind of like comped with like average running position. That's kind of like one of them, driver rating and average finish. Like Chicago is in that group too, from at least what we saw in 2025. So just kind of, and the entire next gen era. So, but yeah, you can look at those ones for sure. For me, like I'm looking at the Glen, I'm looking at Coda, and I am looking at who had speed at least last week in San Diego too, even though I think Carson Osvar, again, kind of going back to the DJD this week, made a good point that, there are a lot of differences between a street race and a road course race and who you see be fast just because of the limits there out on the streets.
Yeah, you can race it a lot differently when you're going to smash into a wall and probably break the wall, or just go off into the grass, dirt, sand, whatever the hell that is, Sonoma. I don't know if you've ever seen pictures of this racetrack in the springtime when it's all
beautiful. It's beautiful.
I'd love to do that just once. Sonoma is almost iconic with the dried out, grass, dirt, whatever it is, but that lush greenery would just look great if we just tried it one year.
Well, if you're going to do it, this would have been the year. Instead of bringing Watkins Glen all the way to May, why don't we just bring Sonoma into May? And then we're sitting here at Watkins Glen where we actually got some summertime weather for once. Like that was just and maybe they had something going on at Sonoma. Maybe they had something going on at the Glen one of those weekends and it wouldn't have worked out. But that seems like the simple fix to me, because I agree. I would love to see the green hillsides out there of Napa Valley while we're watching this race.
And you can't even make the excuse of, they were just on the West Coast, because they go out to the West Coast for Phoenix and Vegas and all that in the spring.
Right? Yeah.
That's Sonoma, man. We should make the schedule, is what I'm hearing. Anyway, some trends for Sonoma. This will be the 37th race out here. Used to be called Sears Point. Used to be called Infineon. Now it's just good old Sonoma Raceway. 5th next gen race, which is pretty typical. 1 race a year. 5th year of the next gen. 5th year in the next gen. Yeah. Active winners in the next gen: Daniel Suarez, Kyle Larson, and Shane van Gisbergen, who is the only next-gen winner from the poll here, but that doesn't mean it's not important to start up front, as I'll get to in just a minute. Best average start here among active drivers: Larson 4.5, Reddick 5.4, Chase Elliott 6.9, William Byron 9.7, AJ Allmendinger 10.5. No surprises there personally. Total active polls: Larson's won the poll here 4 times. Wow. Joe has done it twice. SVG, Allmendinger, and Hamlin all have a poll. And all but Dinger have won 1 in the next gen era. So those are typically the guys you're going to see running up front. I said qualifying was important, and that's because every Sonoma next gen winner has started in the top 8, and no Sonoma winner has won from outside the top 14 since 2008. And other than 2 years, Juan Pablo Montoya in 2007 or Kurt Busch in 2008, no winner ever at Sonoma in all 37 of those races has ever come from outside the top 14. So you're starting 15th or worse. You better hope you have some Juan Pablo luck on your side or some Kurt Busch fuckery on your side, because otherwise your hopes to win are pretty much done for. All time, the poll wins about 20% of the time, 19.44. Front row, 30.5%. Top 5, 52%. Top 10, 75%. Wow. So even that 10 to 14 range, even outside the top 5, I mean, half your winners coming from there. So I'm almost surprised, Seth, that we've only seen the 1 win from the poll with how important these qualifying trends are.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely interesting. But we've seen it before where it seems like a lot of guys go out there and practice, and they practice well. And Sonoma is a bit more of a technical course sometimes, especially with that heavy incline at the start of it, that sometimes you just don't have your fastest laps. So qualifying can skew things a little bit. But generally you still get the right top 15, right? And we're seeing that in the trends, top 14 specifically here, right? So you're going to want to unload fast. You're going to want to have good speed on Saturday. And it's honestly, Elliot, why my betting card a little bit more limited heading into the weekend as opposed to last week, just because I think we're going to learn a lot about these cars. And again, we can look at these comps that we've seen. A lot of these teams and manufacturers are going to be running the same cars that we saw last week too, if they're not in too bad of a shape. So we'll see what happens out there. But I think in general, getting off the truck quick on Saturday is going to be a big deal once again.
I completely agree with you. Normally, I'm the guy to throw in most of my bets, for the show Thursday.
Yeah.
Very rarely, this year, have I added a whole bunch Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This week's a little different. I'm definitely seeing how P and Q goes before I continue to add to my card. And, part of that's waiting on the books for more lower series odds. I'm trying to get a good Austin Green top 10. Can you blame me? The model this week, road course guys rule the roost once again, to no one's surprise. SVG is on top, and your usual suspects are not far behind. Again, we're so appreciative to Chris for throwing together the model, all the stats he uses, pulling from this place and that place. Ryan for My Fantasy Race, a big help as well. And if you want to see the full model, we'll tell you about the IBT Racing family in a minute. But first, Seth, let's talk about this week's iFantasyRace.com Asterisk Mark Driver of the Week.
Yeah, we mentioned his name at the top of the show. We hit a nice plus 180 gainer on him last week for a top 10. It's Ryan Blaney. Blaney was a top contender at Sonoma a year ago, but he finished with an asterisk mark 36th place finish. And on lap 62, he's running P4. Buescher has contact with Blaney here. That sends him off-road in there. And then he got stuck, which dropped him a lap down, right? Then later, adding to insult, he spun out again on lap 106. In terms of total speed rankings, though, Blaney, 12th. But keep in mind, his speed over the segments, 4th, 12th, and then 35th after he got dumped. So he was kind of junked after that. He was back with the squirrels. So Ryan Blaney, to me, someone I'm trying to get on my betting card desperately. The numbers are so incredibly juiced. Like there's not even a bettable top 10 out there really. I've seen like minus 160, which I'm going to wait on RB, but he's a guy who honestly in general, we see kind of the big two. We often see, well, I guess big three really, because even Penske's had speed. Like Logano had a pole here recently in the last couple of seasons. We've seen a couple of years ago where MTJ and Denny Hamlin were out front early in that race. And also this is usually one of the best, if not the best road course out there for this Hendrick Motorsports Club. So I'm expecting the big three to kind of return to dominance here. Keep in mind for some of these guys who've been hot lately, but definitely getting invested as much as I can with some of these top teams, including Blaney's.
Yeah, going back to Blaney, that might have been your best bet from last week that I didn't tail, and I really should. Blaney's shown the speed on the road courses. I was more on Buescher, and Buescher had a great day too, but Blaney showed, especially with his great run, I mean, running up front in that race as well, getting a good finish out of the day. He's come to play on road courses. It's not just a flash.
Top 5 speed all year, right? Like, I don't like. I think you put SVG, you put Reddick up there. Maybe now like Himes might maybe in that discussion. Chris Bell a little bit when
Himes done on road courses this year, so you can't really factor him in. That could be another position for Blaney that maybe makes that top 10 a little more bettable, or maybe even sneaks up into that top 5.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. He's shown now on 2 different road courses that he has a speed as good as SVG at different points in the race, which is something to marvel about.
And hey, who knows? Part of it might just be SVG saving his tires and then going to blow everyone's doors off.
Yeah.
But man, even as dominant as he was at Sonoma, I forgot his margin of victory was not all that far. So, Chase Briscoe was pretty close behind him there. But anyway, SVG going to hope for a dominant performance again. And we'll talk plenty about him. Before we get there, though, Seth, we want to remind everybody about the IBT Racing family.
Yeah, again, free to join right now. Gain access to the chat, our analysts, and memorabilia giveaways for absolutely free right now. And if you want to get access to our full betting cards, the betting model, the head-to-head matchups contest, you can upgrade for $3.99 per month or $36 for the year. That'll also include unlocking all the benefits to our football family, the PGA, and the entertainment families as well. We have some great stuff across all of those, whether you're into playing contests against us, whether you just want to chat about it, whether you want to get the picks and predictions and the betting models. We got you covered each and every single way there. So make sure you're checking that out in dashbetweenmedia.com/chat. Let's keep the chat going. That was some fun discussion there over the weekend. So hopefully we can keep it going. It's always nice when we can, solace in our failures or like take a victory lap very quickly after the race with all the friends in that chat. So really appreciate everyone who's been joining and adding the conversation in there.
And like you mentioned too, having people kind of all around the country makes things fun no matter where you are. I mean, we were at Pocono and probably could have put more content in there. Sorry about that, but we're busy making the content. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the Pocono episodes, content, shorts, everything that we put out there. We take a lot of pride in it. We have a great time doing it. But then last week you have, Tony Anthony on site there at San Diego. Brian Twining is doing his deal and throwing some stuff in the chat as well. And so kind of no matter where you are, there's a good chance, hey, someone from the family might be over there in the chat and can really help enhance the race weekend for all of us.
Yeah, whether it's reviewing some Martinsville wieners or whether it's, me up in the press box of Pocono Raceway, just trying to, get some lap times down there and kind of let you guys know what I'm seeing from a bird's eye view.
All right, man, I'm ready for the bets. Let's get to it in the parking garage props.
Let's fire them up here.
So the main odds we've talked about so far, Ryan Blaney's going, getting quite a bit more juiced because of his good run at San Diego. And that really affects how the books are playing things this week. When you have a road course race the week before, you know how much you got beat up on this guy. You know how much money you're able to take from this guy not finishing well. So it really can help the odds be a little more juiced, but also make a little more sense, if that makes sense, with back-to-back road courses.
It does. I understand it. Like I was actually thinking maybe with like SVG slipping up last week and getting involved in that crash that maybe we'd find him at better odds. At one point I was smiling and licking my chops because like, oh my gosh, did I just find a plus 125 outright on SVG? It was O'Reilly series. It wasn't the Cup Series race. So it's tough right now. I mean, I'm going to tell you again, like I'm not betting SVG, like not at those odds. Like it was the same argument. Last week was especially, like, you can't bet him at those odds, in my opinion. Even I think a parlay is a waste of money. This week, maybe a little bit more because he will be double dipping. So you can go, Cup O'Reilly if that's how you please. But in general, didn't really like what we got this week. I think this, save the clip in the holster here for Sunday, and let's, hopefully be able to attack some of these.
Hey man, I understand, the odds kind of unbettable for Shane. Maybe a parlay's a waste of money. We're running the parlays back. First off, with another Flight of the Conchords parlay, the New Zealand's finest here, Brett, Jermaine, and Shane. The Hurt Feelings parlay, that's one of their songs, pretty catchy. But SVG's got some hurt feelings because that rack was not of his doing. I mean, did he kind of force the issue, making him 3 wide there for a second? Yeah. Did that probably scare the shit out of Austin Hill? Yeah, it probably did. But he backed off well before Hill.
Yeah.
Into the corner, totally missed it. Takes out Hill, who was probably a favorite for a top 10, if not more. Takes out Zilisch, who led his first Cup Series laps, and takes out the favorite Shane van Gisbergen. The word he used was filthy, which I believe is some New Zealand slang for just being really, really pissed off. He was able to drink down his sorrows. He was with Jimmy Jam, and I guess his drunk alter ego is Frank. So Frank and Jimmy Jam got to hang out. Jimmy Johnson, great weekend in the Truck Series as well. We didn't talk much about that. Would love to see him do some more truck racing, but SVG's got hurt feelings, and he is coming back with a vengeance. Cup and O'Reilly outrights plus 222 on Caesars, and that's worth paying. I mean, the O'Reilly is a little iffier, which is why I've got last week I had the GOAT and the Kid parlay, SVG and Brent Cruz. Now it's the GOAT and the other kid, SVG in the Cup Series, Connor Zilisch in the O'Reilly Series at plus 332 on Caesars. Zilisch just has a better handle on the O'Reilly car. We saw it last year at Sonoma, the great duel that they had. Zilisch came out on top. I'm kind of expecting the same this week, but I've got my bases covered because I'm expecting this to be maybe the most pissed off, the most motivated that we've ever seen SVG over here in the States. And it very well could lead to some absolute whoop ass, a little bit of Kiwi down under whoop ass being opened up on the field at Sonoma in one or both series.
Yeah, I totally understand the plays here. Like the issue is like, depending on what your unit share was on each, like you're kind of just like, you're cutting yourself off at the knees a little bit with the hedge, right? And for me, already getting plus 222 on a guy to win 2 races when I know a couple years ago was a couple years ago, but when you're getting 2-1 and plus 250s on SVGs and I'm hammering down for 10 units on it and making crazy gambles, I just can't do it. Like I understand. And like same thing, like if Zilisch wasn't in this O'Reilly race, I'd probably be hammering SVG on the plus, like the plus 125 line, but again, just too short when Connor Z out there can win. And, talk about a guy who's motivated when he goes down there to O'Reilly. It's kind of like what we've seen Ross. Ross has been running like absolute dog shit in this Trackhouse equipment all season long. When he goes down to O'Reilly in the Truck Series, Ross has been really good and very profitable to wager on, right? So I feel similar with SVG and Zilisch. Like I think they're going to be upset. I think they're going to race hard, but I just don't see a way to get invested. So it's just going to be a no from me, dog. I'm going to hope maybe he struggles in practice and qualifying somehow, some way. And maybe I can get in on like a top Chevy ticket or something there on Sunday morning. But for me, it's a no from me, dog, right now.
Kind of what I feel like. I don't know if anyone's ever seen the meme where it's like the bell curve of intelligence, where it has in the most people are going to look at it from a perspective that you just said. Maybe I'm kind of limiting my profit. These are too low numbers, but then you have the dumb guy on one side and the smart guy on the other side. And that's kind of my thought is I like to bet on the guys who I think are going to win the races. So whether I'm on the dumb side or the smart side, we have to wait till the end of the weekend. But in any case, great name, Hurt Feelings. Yeah. And that's Flight of the Conchords comedy duo, music duo from New Zealand. Every time I bet on SVG in a parlay, I like to tie it in there somehow. So it really is Hurt Feelings this week for Shane.
Yeah. And Andrew's saying more tame track, but if he wins, I still can't bet those odds. I'm right there with you. Jamie, I love the optimism for the number 2 car too, but Elliot, I don't know if Cindric can get it done.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where he finished, but I remember there was one point where he was, in the last 5 cars at San Diego there. He was kind of a road course ace, before the next gen, maybe that first year of the next gen.
Yeah.
But even, with Blaney doing better, Logano kind of running more respectably, I was kind of expecting a little more out of Cindric, and it just didn't happen. Maybe you could see the difference between road course and street course really helped the two this week, but I don't know that I'm going to throw him on my card.
I don't hate this shout out, though, from our guy Donald.
Yeah, man. Stan going with McDowell at
Stan,
Sonoma.
sorry.
It's his time. And that leads to our next bet here. We got a little bit of a squad ride on Michael McDowell. I've got the top 5. You've got the top 10, plus 250 for the top 5 on the score. McDowell, another guy that, he wasn't destroyed in that crash, but you saw, the 33's junk, 88's junk, 97's junk, and the 71 spins out too and has a little bit of damage there. Still was able to rally back for a top 10. Basically the one McDowell bet I didn't have last week. I lost on all the others because it was the
Gotta take it, man. Gotta drink the juice. Come on, brother.
I did get him to beat the 45, but that only hit because the 45 flat tire that wouldn't have hit. So McDowell, maybe that top 10 I'll have to add to my card. But for right now, it's the top 5. Ran really well at Sonoma last year. He is, probably the second best road course guy. Last chance he's got on the road courses this year on the Cup side. And, man, I think plus 250 is a solid number. He's kind of another guy with hurt feelings. That wreck was none of his fault as well.
No, it wasn't. And he was looking like he was a guy who might have pace to actually go out there. And if SVG was taken out, probably run with time, right? And but like, to me, Michael McDowell, like this minus 135, this is the biggest bet I've placed in probably a month. I'm 4 units down. Like, this is a majority of my card for this weekend right now, Elliot, because you look across the board, who are the guys who finished top 10 every single race that they've been here at Sonoma in the next gen era? Well, SVG, of course, because he's only been here one time. He got the dub. And then Michael McDowell's another one here with a 4.0 average finish, best in the series aside from SVG, who only has that one start. 3rd, 7th, 2nd, 4th. Chase Elliott's the other one, but Chase Elliott's like running like crap right now, right? So like, I'll take someone here in Michael McDowell who, you look at his driver rating at Sonoma, top 4. You look at in the next gen era. You look at his average running position in the next gen era, also top 4, right? And then you just look at his driver rating at comp tracks this season. He's 3rd. Like, everything has been lining up for this guy. And even last week when he got taken out, he still was able to put himself back in position for a top 10 finish. Right now, all the comps we've been to, so the 2 road courses and the street course last week, number 1 in average finish this year, Michael McDowell. That plus the number 1 average finish also at Sonoma in the next gen era outside of SVG. Like, this might be a chance to go ladder plus 250. I don't hate that at all. Maybe I will try to go back to it, but for me, I just want all the McNasty on my card that I can get. This is also a guy coming in right now, top 10 in momentum driver rating in the last 6 races, and that's been outside of a couple road courses as well. Of course, last week helps, but I just love what McNasty's doing. He's in great equipment. He's Inspire equipment now that is running really, really quick. So yeah, I think McNasty just feels like the safest bet on the board. He'll be in all my fantasy lineups as well.
Yeah, safe is a good word. And even though there's really no safe when you have Austin Hill out on the track, apparently McDowell generally a pretty safe one. And like you said, more favorable odds too. I understand people not wanting to drink the juice.
Minus 135. That's awesome. Top 10 odds. That's that is such a safe bet. Like, again, if like the aliens came down and said like the fate of humanity has to be on one bet this weekend across all my World Cup shenanigans, my in-season tournament shenanigans, this is the one I'm saving the world with, baby. You can thank me later.
Man, I don't blame you. If I don't already have that on my card, I think I'm going to have to add the top 10. You only pay the juice if you lose, and this is, I mean, you have it in your notes here. You probably already said it, but going off as low as minus 191 for this top 10.
Yeah.
It's 135. I like it.
Yeah, certainly.
All right, so we got a couple more top 10 bets, including a little squad ride. I'll let you introduce your other top 10 bet before I get to a little combo that I've got.
Yeah, I just didn't think I was going to find a number this good for AJ Allmendinger after what he did last week and finished top 5. You mentioned him. You had the top 10. He goes out there, P5s that. And like now, AJ Allmendinger, just one of 2 drivers, Elliot, with top 10s at every road course this season. The other one, McNasty, of course, that we just talked about. And also in that span, 7.3 average finish. That is second best in the field, only to Michael McDowell. He has an average starting position of 11.3. He's starting low to mid-teens sometimes. He's probably not going to go out there and maybe get you top 10 average start, but he's going to be in that mix, right? That's at least enough to like stay out of the squirrel's nest unless Big Country gets a hold of you and, starts ripping up the packet. That is 2 years in a row that this guy has just killed road course cards in 2 different series. But, that aside, I just love what AJ Allmendinger's been doing. He's been starting up front on road courses. He's been finishing top 10 and also stage points in 5 of 6 stages, Elliot. So he's maintaining that track position all day long, man. And you come into here to get a guy at plus 140 who's 6 in our projections. That's pretty rare at any type of track. So I love this number. 6 in Sonoma next gen loop data score. When looking at this track specifically, 10th in average running position, 8th in driver rating in that span as well. So for me, I've seen this go off as low as minus 183. So yeah, like to get plus money at any book, I saw only a plus 110 ticket, I think, at theScore. Everywhere else is like minus money. So to get plus 140 from Bet365, like they continue to deliver here, and I'll continue to take it here on the Dinger. I think it's maybe the second time this year I've been getting invested with him. So happy to be back with you, AJ. Happy to be back on the train, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, and this is a great number too, because last week I had his top 10 on Bet365, and it was minus 105. So
at a less predictable track, and we had less data for the year to go on too.
Yeah, this is one where, again, if I don't have it on my full card, which I think this is maybe the first week I have like most of my card in because I have a lighter card, I don't have a whole bunch of random bets hidden that'll only go in the family, at least not yet. So yeah, I'm gonna have to throw some more unit share down on Allmendinger for sure. I already have some, and it's on this Caesars little pre-made parlay here. Like him a lot this week, Eric saying very good number, and I agree with it. I've got he and Chris Buescher both to finish top 10. Plus 325 over on Caesars. They didn't have a great deal of selection when I looked at it yesterday, but I saw Buescher and Allmendinger paired together. Do either of them have a shot to win with SVG in the field? Maybe not, but I mean, these guys both kind of really seem like slam dunks for the top 10 here. We talked about AJ. Chris Buescher, again, really showing his speed there. Showed off his drifting moves, too. Gets spun out there. I don't know how we didn't wreck half the field when Buescher got spun around. He's able to keep it moving. Shane and everybody hit the brakes and nobody piles into him. And it led to a good finish for Buescher as well. Got Liverpool on the car this week along with Trimble. So that allowed a little bit. This year wasn't so good, but won the Premier League a couple of years ago. Need to see these cross collaborations here. And like I say, those fun things always make the car a little faster. Both these guys have finished top 10. You want to talk about my bet of the week? If I got to save humanity with a bet, I'm going to go a little riskier, which again, surprise, surprise, I'm going to make a riskier bet than you. But McDowell is going to be great. Buescher and Allmendinger, though, to finish top 10, though, seems like a lock to me. Plus 325. I'm going to go with it.
I really wanted to bet Buescher this week. I really did. And maybe this is the way I do, and maybe it's even a half unit sprinkle because I don't hate this number at all. You know, Chris Buescher comes into this week third in our projections, right? So just for a top 10, we're not asking for a whole lot there, right? The issue is it finishes here at Sonoma, second, fourth, third. You love that. Last year, 16th, did not show up here. Also, he's only had one top 10 on our 3 road course / street courses this season, Elliot. He burned the crap out of me when we were at the Glen. I had 5 or 6 units down. I don't even remember just, what the biggest bet of the season up at that point. And he's same thing that happened with Mini Tyrell happened with Chris Buescher. He's run top 10 on these road courses. That's a long time to wait and sweat out a number getting across the line. And he burned the shit out of me there. So I can't go back on a singular top 10, especially because like right now, I think it's going off from like anywhere from like 175 minus 150. That's just a little too much for me. You know, you do like what RFK had as a whole last week. Buescher had some speed. Ryan Preece had some speed. I guess there's a minus 120 now. I think DK just moved their line, so I don't hate that. But maybe this is the better way I get invested here with a plus 325 tick. I don't hate this number at all. If you're going to go Buescher, I think going him a lower unit share, but a higher number with a Dinger top 10. Yeah, I'm here for it.
I don't know that we talk a whole lot about our betting strategies, betting tendencies, that sort of thing. And I've got plenty of faults. You know, people are more than welcome to flame me in the comments, but I kind of think maybe one of your flaws is you hold grudges against guys for a little too long. Like
I do.
He burned you in a race, 8 weeks ago. We had a whole ass driver in the field that's not even, has unfortunately passed on since then. That just means so much has changed since then. I don't think Sonoma is going to be quite the same as Watkins Glen, but to kind of see where you're coming from, it's the most similar track to Watkins Glen. We're expecting the same guy to win. We can see the strategies play out. I just don't think Buescher is going to burn you twice here.
I just got my heart ripped out, dude. Like legitimately running top 10 all day, leading some laps in that race, like looking like he's a damn bat out of hell, gets on the wrong strategy. Like that's more than anything, I think, with this team is like sometimes their strategy calls as a whole RFK this season, been a little funky. I feel like they're not usually I trust McDowell. He's usually the funky one to get a little weird with it, but I actually trust Peterson and the gang out there to kind of put Michael McDowell on that right strategy where he has a shot at winning. I don't know what the 17 team is going to do from a strategy perspective. So, but I do agree that is one of my faults. I struggle to go back to you after you burned me I'll keep riding the good times. Like I think we hit 2 Blaney top 10s in a row for pretty good money 2 weeks back to back. I fade Chris Bell 2 weeks back to back. That worked out. But I do have a tendency to worry when I go back and want to get invested. But usually that's when they hit, right? So.
Yeah, and especially with how good you mentioned Priest too. He and Priest ran really strong at San Diego. And of course, you got to play the strategy right. But having a good car will get you a long way. And the 17 being in the top 10 with the 16, I think is going to go a long way too. And it's the same thing with my last top 10 bet. Going to ride the Bubba Wallace train plus 275 on the score. Again, Bubba, this is kind of a multi-year storyline at this point where when 2311 first fires up, he's to the point where he's having to go find Xfinity at the time rides.
Yeah.
Just take some laps in on road courses because he was awful. And now we're to the point where he's running second on a crazy street course that is one of the hardest we've ever seen. And he runs second, runs great all day. 2311, super fast on the road courses. And Bubba, in general, top 11, 3 of the last 5 road courses. So this is not a flash in the pan by any stretch of the imagination. I will say Sonoma is probably his worst road course. But if he'd had better Sonoma stats, I probably would have gone the top 5. 2311, of course, there were top 5 spots that were kind of left open if you assume SVG, Zilisch, McDowell, maybe Austin Hill were going to be that good. But Bubba Wallace, this is a what have you done for me lately bet, both in general and on the road and street courses. Top 10 seems like a very attainable goal, plus 275, a very attainable number to get it done.
It is. It really, really is. And like I thought the same thing, Elliot, actually coming into this week. And I said, Bubba Wallace nearly 3-1. Like sign me up for that. I think I'm here to do that. However, the finishes at Sonoma, like that's what you're 26, 20, 17, 36. This guy's a 25 pretty much average finish here. That's like bottom, like up the barrel here, right? So like that's why I think he was so far low in the projections. I think he comes in like what? 19th this week. So,
Great.
yeah. And like you're counting on recent form and you're counting on some of the speed that he's had at the comp tracks this season. He hasn't always got the finishes right, but that's kind of Bubba Wallace for you at road courses. I personally just kind of refuse to put any money on Bubba Wallace at road courses ever since like he's like trying to take out Alex Bowman a couple years ago at Chicago. And like it's just like, I don't want a guy who has a temper on a road course. Like I did kind of think about, hey, should I get a little saucy, go a little Noah Gragson over Chase Elliott 5-1? Because I don't hate that play. Because honestly, that's happened more than you think this year that they've been close on a road course. But again, I was like, I don't know if I want a hot head on my card. So that's kind of the issue with Bubba for me.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head who he has in the in-season challenge. I don't know if he'll think about that as much as he did Bowman at Chicago. We didn't even touch on Noah and Kevin Magnussen ripping each other apart in the back of the field to the point where K-Mag just straight up sends him and really doesn't have much to say at the end of the race. It wasn't quite as good of a quote. Magnussen a couple of years ago, somebody comes up to him in F1, taps him on the side and is like, man, I don't like you or whatever. And K-Mag's response is, suck my balls, mate. He didn't go that far with Noah, but pretty much. So it was,
yeah.
I'd like to see him come back. He ran decent. He had the fastest lap. He barely worked in the matchup contest. We'll talk about that in a minute. But it was nice to see him there, and it would have been nice if they just kept the 91 out there and let him run again. It would have been fun to see the 4 and the 91 beat on each other again this weekend in wine country.
Oh man, dude. Like I kind of like I like the cut of his jib, right? I like Kevin Magnussen. He was a guy that we were kind of first getting into Formula One gambling, and occasionally we try to send out like a top 10 prayer for him. Never really worked. You're better off at times like offering up like a first to retire bet on K-Mag, right? Kind of towards the end there, but like I like what standing on business out there. Get the F out of my face, like F off. Just saying it again and again. And like credit to Noah Gragson too, though. Like stand on business yourself, dude. Like you're a regular in this series. You're running like absolute dog shit this year. You actually had a pretty good run going. So to get dumped there, I understand the frustration from him. So on both ends, I like this, man. This is Rubbins racing out here, right? This is what separates us from the Formula Ones of the world, because we can go out there and we can door some freaking people out there on a naval base in the great city of San Diego. So I'm here for it, man. I love the situation. Love K-Mag. Hope he comes back, and hope Noah Gragson just continues to be him, man, because he's a complete gem.
Man, and we really should have expected this out of K-Mag, because in terms of F1 drivers over the last couple of years, whose driving style probably would translate most to full-bodied stock cars, it's Kevin Magnussen. So it's no surprise he ends up junking somebody, regardless of his reasons. So either way, that was fun. And you had Noah also mention that he wanted to kind of maybe punch him in the face, but he was told, my job could be in a little bit of jeopardy if we do that.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about, man. Why all of a sudden, is that just a PR person having too much pull, or is that is something getting radioed down? I don't know, because all of a sudden, I don't know, man. Like getting in a fight should not, unless it's you're caught in an assault charge, and maybe it's because they were on a Navy base
and they
could cop an assault charge.
The guy who jumped the fence Saturday, if you're going to do that anywhere, don't do it on an active naval base.
Bro.
Literal NCIS comes and takes the guy.
You could legitimately get away with that at way
anywhere
more.
Else.
I mean,
anywhere else.
Well, even in Oval, you're
not to the level of now he's catching a federal charge. If somebody did that,
right,
I think you're catching a federal charge.
Yeah. Same with Watkins Glen. They might not. You might be able to outrun. I don't know what they got for police force for there on camelback or horseback or what's going up there in the Glen. But there are other places to be a hero, bro. Hopefully he bet on one of these prediction markets. Guy to jump on the track at Navy Base Coronado over the weekend. But yeah, not the brightest look to be the star. And out of all people, did he jump it to go talk to Sheldon Creed or something? Out of all fucking people, that's who you're gonna go talk to.
People were back and forth. Somebody thought it might have been a high school buddy from Creed. He's from California. I don't know if Creed confirmed that or not, but either way, I was chatting with Sheldon and had a good time.
Yeah, if you're gonna jump a fence, I'm not talking to Sheldon Creed to do it. Just so you know, even though I like Sheldon and appreciate you, Sheldon. He's cashing big tickets for us. Gave us a nice interview this year, so he's in my good graces for sure. But definitely not the guy I'm jumping a fence for.
We got a couple more bets, including another squad ride. Wanted to mention this comment from Eric first. Thoughts about Suarez, past winner, but not a great grade on the model. Suarez was a guy who I was kind of looking to get involved in my card, but the numbers really weren't there. Like I said, the stats really weren't there. He didn't run. There wasn't a super strong run from him that I remember from San Diego. Someone who I just don't really have on the card so far.
The trend lately with Suarez here, Eric, it's been unloading fast, but the last 2 weeks has not been able to finish fast and get the finish he deserves. The big stat actually that threw it off for me was looped data score at Sonoma in the next gen era, bottom 3 for Suarez. And some of this is just he's been finding the marbles. He's been getting pushed off track and just kind of spinning and not having great jumps to these races. But will Suarez maybe have top 12, top 15 speed? Absolutely. Are his finishes not terrible here? Yeah, they're not bad at all, actually. But he's a guy, if I could bet for a top 15 or in a matchup, and if you want to pay the juice on his in-season tournament head-to-head, I don't hate that. He's going up against, I think, Todd Gilliland's a matchup, but he's minus 180 a lot of books, so I just can't pay that personally because Todd Gilliland's not a bad road course racer either. But yeah, I mean, since that first place finish, 22nd, 14th, if I had to pick an over-under for Daniel Suarez this week, Elliot, I think I'd pick 13.5 or 12.5. That's the number. So if you want to throw out a top 10 and go 3-1, half a unit or something, Eric, I'm cool with it. But for me, I just couldn't. I couldn't do plus 175 too. Yeah, I just can't. Not even 3-1. So yeah, I can't do that.
No, I'm not sure what the call sheet top 20s look like. Maybe I would take a top 20 on.
Not good. You can pretty much bet Noah Gragson for a top 20 if you want. Cody Ware. That's kind of your options, right? Gragson's like 2-1 or something. Ain't bad.
I'm not taking that either. It didn't look like that market was quite put together yet. I don't know if it's less unit share so far over on the prediction markets on the race or what, but hoping those kind of form together because they are fun to bet. All right, we have a squad ride matchup. I'll introduce it and then I'll let you do more of a breakdown. And it's kind of an unexpected one, but also one that I think makes a lot of sense, and you do too. Kyle Larson over Connor Zilisch plus 120 via Bet365. It's part that just Connor is snake bit. He's had a lot of bad luck this year. Lead laps, gets taken out by Austin Hill. It's still working on getting adjusted to the Cup car, still working on keeping that self-confidence up. Of course, if he comes in having won the O'Reilly race and another great duel with Shane or anybody else, I'm sure he'll feel better. But we saw Kyle Larson. If the strategy plays out a little differently, Larson probably is in that position to go win that race. He had his best run on a road course in quite some time and kind of showed he was, I think, the only one that really showed the Hendrick speed. I guess Byron was kind of in the top 10, but then had some sort of mechanical issue. Chase was not good. Alex Bowman was not that great either. Larson, the only guy who probably has a shot to win from the Hendrick camp. And to finish ahead of Zilisch, this could be one of those battles that's in the top 5 all day. But the plus money on a guy like Larson, Seth, I'm inclined to take him, the proven veteran guy who's won here before, run well here before at the very least. Plus 120 over Zilisch on the last road course race. Yeah, that's the way I'm leaning, man.
It's so funny how times have changed, because 2 years ago at this track, I hit the Kyle Larson outright. I think a 10-1 or something, like a really nice number there. And then last year I come back here, I faded him in a couple matchups and it paid off, right? Like the thing though, Kyle Larson, dog shit on road courses a year ago. This year, real speed, really, really good finishes right now. Average finish of 10.7. And like you look at, like, I was surprised that, like, Zilisch all year, it's been him and SVG matched up, right? And I think the books have finally given up on that, because like no one's taken Zilisch in that matchup, really, right?
And probably no one's taken the Shane at what, minus 450 or whatever. Those
but even when they have, they've kind of printed money. Aside from last week, I think Zilisch should get credit with beating Shane in that one by one spot. But like for me, like Zilisch has an average finish at road courses this year, folks, 23.6. Like they're really not in the same category, and like. Also, the equipment is sketchy at best. And this is, like I said, I expect the big three to kind of show up here this weekend. Like, I think Hendrick and some of these guys will have a little more speed. Like, I thought about fading Chase. I said against Gragson, maybe at like a 5-1 number. But, like, Chase's finishes have been really, really good here. So, like, Larson to me, 8th in driver rating on comps this season. Zilisch 12th, so he has the edge there. And this is also a track that Larson won at in 2024 again. And, like, Zilisch has never even touched this track in a cup car. So, I just think the season's got to be weighing on the kid, man. It hasn't, like, you go from having one of the best all-time seasons ever in the O'Reilly Series to absolutely just looking like crap most of the Cup Series season. So I think it was weighing on the kid, and I think it's just like at plus 120, hard to not bet Kyle Larson, especially when he comes in. The projections this week for us very, very high, all the way up in number 4.
Yeah, Larson, I think he's the not the only hope for Hendrick. I mean, Byron, we're not sure, but that'll be one thing that I'm looking for on the card this week in some of the bets that I'll add is not ways to fade Larson, but probably ways to fade the rest of Hendrick if I can find anything that good. I'm just not expecting it to be all that strong.
Yeah, completely agreed.
All right, this one last bet on the Cup side. It's a little wild, but hear me out because it makes a lot of sense, because Todd Gilliland was one of these surprise drivers last week, ran really well. Front row in general, short of the 4-car getting dumped by Magnussen running in 83rd or whatever in the back of the pack. Todd Gilliland, really, really good race. Ran up front for a good bit of it. He is in Group F this week on Bet365. He's plus 350. He's matched up against Denny Hamlin, not a super great road course guy. Somebody who, I'm confident enough in Todd Gilliland. Joey Logano, again, same sort of thing. He ran decent, but again, Todd Gilliland, a lot more speed at San Diego. And then Austin Cindric is the other driver in this group. We talked earlier a little bit about fading Cindric on next-gen road courses, and this is an opportunity to kind of do that. It would, to an extent, be a surprise to see Todd Gilliland run, in the top 5 again. But he may, Denny, we don't know how strong he's going to be. He was stronger than I thought. Almost was able to hit that top 10 if the strategy.
Yeah. All of a sudden I was looking at that. I said, oh, baby, here we go.
But he's not a guy who's going to come up there to win the race or probably run top 5. Logano, like you said, has won poles here, but if Penske and Ford's going to have speed, it's going to be Blaney, it's going to be Buescher. I think Logano is, like you said with Suarez, 13.5 might be kind of where I put Logano. Cindric, I don't even have that much faith in him. So Todd Gilliland plus 350 to take the group. It's one of those that's, it's not really a clear favorite here, nor a clear loser. I'm going to take the guy who's got the best momentum.
I think Denny Hamlin's best momentum, right? I mean,
well, I guess
that was a win last. That was a win last week for Denny Hamlin to close in on Tyler Reddick in the points. And like the thing about like Todd Gilliland, he has a 1/10th place finish here. I think we hit that a couple years ago. But aside from that, P24, P24, P22, that's kind of where we have him in the projections, P20. So actually a good week to get invested with Todd Gilliland. Maybe if there's a top 20 that gets loosened up there in the in the prediction market, so you can kind of go that way, but probably not going to get that. For me, like I just can't bet this. Like I'm okay with like if it was him versus Cindric head to head. Denny's been running good, and like Denny's also 18th in our projections, Elliot, and his finishes here, he's gotten really unlucky the last 3 years. Like he's like just absolutely been terrible the last couple of years. I mean, bottom 2 in average finish, bottom 3, in average finish at Sonoma the past 2 seasons. So I just can't go there because like that's the only thing dragging Denny down. And because those were kind of fluky. And also Joey Logano, P12 in the model this week, actually. Sonoma, or again, a couple years ago, he pulled this. This is where I kind of expect Penske to be a little bit better. So I like the idea of backing Todd Gilliland, but just not here in this market for me.
Understandable. Like I said, it's one of those that it's a little zany, but not quite zany enough to be Zane Smith. We'll talk about him in a minute. The O'Reilly series, we don't have any active bets on the card short of those parlays that I talked about. Of course, I'm going to be looking for the Austin Green top 10. I'm hoping a real book puts it out there. I think on Call Sheet last I saw it was somewhere in like the minus 120 range. I'm hoping that a book is dumb enough to give it to me at plus money again because it's a slam dunk and I'm going to put more unit share on it. It was nice to have him in the group as well. We'll see what happens there. And there'll be some other guys in that race that might be worth it.
Do you have an Austin Green die cast? Is there one out there?
We don't have any merch for him. There's been no die cast, no shirts. I've been thinking about a shirt to rep it on the show because I bet him every road course and it's made me quite fond of the kid. You know,
maybe we can clip this. Austin Green. We need some merch. We need some die cast. Like you got fans out here on the NASCAR gambling streets, man. We've been hammering top 10s on you for a better part of 2 years, my friend.
And it was one of those things where I didn't realize, you know, he was part of the Green family, like Jeff Green, David Green, all those former really great, you know, former Busch Series champions. He was just a guy who I was like, nobody's talking about this kid. And he's running top 5 to top 10 on every road course in this shitbox nobody's ever heard of. And it's just blossomed and blossomed. And he's made me money and he's been fun to watch his story and all that. So it's a real organic, you know, quote unquote fan story that, you know, we're repping Austin Green on the program. There are a few drivers that we definitely have soft spots for one reason or another. And I think Green, with the way that he's helped us look smart on this show the last couple of years on road courses, is definitely in that group.
Come on, Austin Green. We need you, bud. We need you. And also, Call Sheet, we need you. Let's get a little bit less juice on that top 10. Bet 365. The score. Let's throw out some top 10s out there too. We need it. We need a little Austin Green action. Love it.
Be nice. We'll take the money. All right. So the head-to-head matchups contest is where we'll go next. Take a look at that leaderboard. Look who's got a 2-race lead in the standings.
Wow.
That's a name we're familiar with. I am 2 up on Chris right now, but we got Blaze Wolf, CJ, and Eric Larson close by. And yourself, Seth, and Kyle. It's really close, man. I mean, 3 races may seem like a lot.
Yeah.
I'm really talking it up here as, I got this big lead now. Things are close back there. I'm glad to have a little bit of distance. And my matchup for last week, like I said, ends up just barely hitting. I had Bowman over Magnussen. I didn't put any money on it. The dumbass strategy strikes again from the 48. And he probably had a 10th to 15th place car on a good day. Kept him out on our old tires to lose all those spots. Finishes 1 spot ahead of the 91 and barely cashes that matchup. But I'll take it. 2 weeks in a row that I've hit, maybe more than that, and a 2-race lead is where I was going with this.
Yeah, I think you might be on a 4 or 5. You've been streaking because you caught up to Chris and then you also passed him. So yeah, great to see that. I finally get back in the wind calm. That one felt good last week. That felt like an easy one. You know, after the transmission blew up there on the 20, we were kind of coasting off in the sunset there. So completely understand. You know, and this is fun, man, because like all of a sudden Chris is on a real heater. But the cool thing about the NASCAR season is like the points now getting a little bit, you know, more season long type of action is happening here. And it's anyone's game still up for that mystery autograph die cast we're going to send out and the plaque there as well. So for me, I thought you're going to take this. So I'm glad you didn't, because I think I think we have a couple potential squad rider here in Eric Larson. I think he's going to go here on the Larson head-to-head. But yeah, give me Larson plus 120 over Zilisch for me.
And that's part of why I didn't take it, because we want to go a little different here. We don't all just want to ride the same matchup. And have we had that happen before where guys?
We actually had I think it was Eric or Kyle last week. One of them tailed me and we both went to victory. So I'm here for it as long as I'm clicking off dubs. I don't care who tails or who doesn't tail. But yeah, it was so funny because I was so excited when I saw this match. I'm like, oh, no one saw this because everyone's picking in-season tournament challenges. And then I go into the into our show sheet where we build the graphics from, and then I see you already have this bet. I'm like, oh, never mind. Elliot's already on that like white on rice.
Yeah, but it was one of those deals where I'll let you have it, and I'll take one of those in-season challenge matchups. Remember, you can check out our full in-season challenge show that will break down how the bracket works, all the bracket matchups, let you know what ones we're on. I'll give a little tease here that I am on Zane Smith over Carson Hocevar. That is plus 120 over on BetMGM. And it's as simple as Zane Smith really on a heater. Again, really good finish last week up there with Todd Gilliland. And not that Hocevar wasn't fast. Had a shot to go up there and win that race. Ends up getting turned. He's got a lot of guys that are going to be okay kind of turning him around. And like we talked about earlier, more traditional road courses, not necessarily Hocevar's bread and butter. The street courses and those defined limits. Hocevar may not want to take out a wall at San Diego. He took out a wall at Chicago. He learned from that a couple of years ago. But him sending it a little too hard and going into that good old Sonoma grass, dirt, whatever, I can very easily see that happening, whether it's he sends himself there or he gets sent there. So I'll take the plus money on Zane.
Yeah, I actually have also bet this for a half a unit. We'll talk more about that on that overall tournament bracket breakdown that we're going to do there. But I'll tell you what, man, it's funny because I had the same bet, Zane Smith at plus money a couple seasons ago against Carson Hocevar. I think it was a Watkins Glen, one of the last road courses of the season. They both went out there and finished top 5. I was so mad because I was so high on Zane that week, and I didn't bet him in any other market because I put so much on the plus money head-to-head. So I'm going right back there to the well here. Carson Hocevar has not had good finishes on road courses this season. You know, last week you can blame Corey Heim 23-11 for dumping him a little bit. That wasn't on him. He was going to have speed, but I just don't trust him to get the finish. And I do Zane Smith, who also had an absolute rocket top 4 last week. If anyone was riding that on Zane Smith. So this guy who's just continuing to do really good things in the Cup Series, man. And, they got to sign him quick, man, at front row. Or I think this guy, he is absolutely due a big contract. So, shout out to Zane Smith. Shout out to you for picking that one. And shout out to Eric here saying the matchup contest is a ton of fun. It absolutely is, man. Saying last week's squad ride on the Bell fade. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Easiest one. I should have faded him also against William Byron. I saw that one out there too. So, yeah. Don't let us do that, though. How about that? No Bell matchups this week.
We have a lot of Bell bets that are just not out there, probably expecting him to get out of the car again, which I wonder how that'll work in the in-season challenge. We'll talk more about that later. And, hey, we want you to join in on the matchup contest that is in the IBT Racing family. It's one of our paid benefits, $3.99 a month or $36 for the year. Of course, you get all the benefits from the football family, football season. It's closer than you think, man. Training camps are firing up here soon. Entertainment family, again, entertainment is going to be continuing to carry the IBT umbrella, so always supporting them over there with that brand. And then the golf family as well. Always some good golf on as the summertime rolls on, and they do a lot of great work over there too. So again, that's where you want to join. And we're wanting to get more people in to the point where if you're hopping in and you want to try to catch up, we may do a little double or nothing. We may do a little, get a little boost to help you catch up, man. I mean, I don't know if we'll give you 4 laps back in the race after you have to repair your radiator, but man, we'll get you close enough that we'll keep you in it,
Yeah, maybe we do maybe for the first month, you can do like a 2 times odds boost. And then after that, maybe like the second month, we'll give you a 1.5 times boost or something. And then it's even game after that. Cause then you've had your chance to catch up. But yeah, I like that. It's still up for grabs. And Elliot can't win the mystery die cast either. So,
you best believe I'll throw that plaque behind me. But yeah, the mystery die cast, it's not a house prize. So
yes, it certainly is. Elliot, you know what is a prize though? That is our proud presenting sponsor of this particular program tonight. If you want a different kind of daily fantasy experience, then fire up FantasySpin. FantasySpin lets you spin your lineup, make your picks, and compete in tournaments based on real player projections. Like a slot machine, you can absolutely hit the jackpot over there on Spin. This is a unique game that combines the skill of drafting a DFS lineup with a captivating gamified experience. Enter contest, spin your DFS line for a chance to win big. And whether you're playing for free or for cash, FantasySpin has you covered. Check the link in the description. Use that promo code IBT NASCAR. Again, IBT NASCAR. Let them know we sent you. If you're in one of those states, you can play with real money. I suggest you do because it seems everyone I've been talking to has been winning a lot on it. I've won on the free base side a couple of times as well, but deposit at least $10 and play at least one tournament. And you're going to get $30 in bonus play. Support the program. Check out FantasySpin, and let's make some noise for the rest of the racing season. And Elliot, let's go ahead and fire up a little spin action. What do you say?
Can't wait.
Spin, pick, win.
All right, we're firing up a little FantasySpin here.
Yep, I was just going to say I'm excited. Last week, I feel like we had a good lineup and looking forward to running it back on the road course.
Yes, yeah, we absolutely did. Let's see what we have here.
As you can see, there's also the O'Reilly Series contest. We're going to run Cup, but you also can win with the O'Reilly Series as well.
Yep, 5 spins, 4 locks. You guys can unlock as much as you want. You know the roles here. We had a banger of a lineup last week. Didn't come to fruition, but and we also had Red Dog in that lineup, I think, too. So we just
you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, we needed him. Needed him. All right, here we go, boys. Here we go. First spin. Josh Berry, Austin Hill, F both those guys. Ryan Priest, I don't hate. Cindric, Dinger, Stenhouse. I'm going to lock Dinger for sure.
Yes. Yep.
I'm honestly okay with spin. Like, Priest is probably my second favorite out of these guys, but I don't even really want to lock him either.
I couldn't agree more. Lock Allmendinger and let's go with another spin.
All right, another spin. 3 left after this. Yes, sir. Oh, the banger spin. We just got a god spin. Good luck beating me this week, folks.
Dude, we might have to burn all 3 of our locks here. SVG, Gibbs, and McDowell.
I'm lower on Ty Gibbs than most people this week. I'm going to be honest with you.
But we can always unlock him if we get a better driver. You know what I'm saying?
You're right. Yeah, we're definitely.
If we're able to spin McDowell. Reddick, if we're able to spin. I hope I didn't. Yeah. I clapped right in front of my mic. I hope I didn't blow anybody's ears out. My bad. I was just. I mean, this is the best spin. And if we didn't already have so many locks, I mean, Briscoe really strong. Last year ran P2 in this race.
Yeah, I put Briscoe right next to Gibbs. Honestly, like. They're right next to each other in the model, pretty much 11th to 14th. So yeah, like I would take Gibbs out if we got like a Red Dog, a Bushwhacker, a Larson. I would think about Chase too. Those would be like pretty much the guys I would be definitely taking them out for.
Chase was really not good last week though. I mean, he ended up with a decent finish, but he was in 20s most of the race.
Speed's been bad on road courses, but he's lit at Sonoma. Yeah, like I do like Riley Herbst, but not better than Ty Gibbs. I mean, shout out Riley Herbst, man. He was running 5th in that race last week.
I felt terrible because in his post-race interview, they're like, "Hey, man, great finish, but how do you feel about the guy who's taking your job winning?" And it's like, dude, why can't we celebrate Riley Herbst?
Yeah, come on.
Run.
Have some respect out there, Big Jays. We need you. All right, Cole Custer, Joey Logano as well. Yeah, not good enough to.
Yeah, no, we got to burn that last spin, I think.
Yeah, I'll take Gibbs over Logano. Like, I think Logano's in the same range as Gibbs. Like, they're actually back-to-back in the projections this week, 11th and 12th, but still not doing enough. All right, folks, we need...
See if we can get lucky.
Eric saying unreal spin on that. That was an unreal spin. I feel you there. But we've had nothing since. Because we've only been spinning
But we got 4 of the best 9 drivers.
Do you have a drink? Are you drinking anything tonight?
Got a little Michelob running. All
right. Let's take a drink. Let's take a drink here. Good luck. Good luck. Drink. All right. Here we go. Daniel Suarez,
Keselowski. That's good.
Take that. Honestly, too, if you're gonna have Brad on a road course, this is probably you don't want him on any of them, but this is probably the one to actually take him on road course. 21st in the projections. I'm okay with this lineup.
And him as our number 6 driver. If he was like our 3rd best, I'd be worried about it.
Yeah.
But this is, I mean. I thought last week was generational. I kind of think we have the generational fantasy spin lineup this week. This is ridiculous, Seth.
The only way I think it could get better again if we could have got like a Larson.
Even imagine if instead of Keselowski we could have held on to Briscoe and had the same 5 otherwise. Like that would have been really solid too. I don't want to get too greedy and be like, I want SVG and I want Reddick and I want Zilisch and I want McDowell. That's too much. But even if I'm okay with this lineup and. Like I said, not to get too greedy, we could have, the 19 over the 6 would have been good, but I'm still very, very okay with this.
I'm going to call an audible live on the show. And how do you feel about spinning a little O'Reilly action here before we get out of here? Just like we got the hot hand. I don't really want to put it down. Like this is how fun this game is, folks. I want to keep it written right now.
I think, let's get a little SVG, Zilisch, Austin Green.
That's what I'm saying.
Get a little Chastain in there.
All right, let's see what we got here. A little Saturday lineup. All right, here we go. First spin. A little Gator, Austin Green, Jesse Love, Ryan Sieg, Alfredo, and Creed.
Man, that was a bad race for Allgaier too. It was not typical for him. He's not a great road course guy, but he ran terrible, and I think I had to take it to the garage.
I'm gonna rock Green and Creed here, honestly, because Creed, like, if we want to lock Gator, or Love. Maybe I'll lock Love over Gator, probably, honestly, just based on. Jesse Love, I know
Jesse Love from San Diego.
remember he got taken out early or something in there. So
yeah, okay.
I don't hate Alfredo either, honestly, but
yeah, I mean Viking. I mean that was unbelievable.
It was. He didn't get the finish he deserved either. Jeremy Clemens, Dean Thompson, Ryan Ellis. I'm good on those.
Dude, I don't want to tell you
bad though. Actually,
I don't. It's not that I want to lock any of these guys. It's that I feel like we might have to unlock one of either Love or Creed just to get more variance in here. Because I feel like we very easily could get spins like this and end up kind of not stuck with these guys, but like stuck with these guys. How about we got 3 left? Give it another spin, and if we get 3 drivers of this tier, maybe then we think about it.
All right, Starpoli, Day, and Brandon Jones. I don't mind locking, but he's going to be in that backup car again, right? He's going to be in the backup. And it just had a freaking manhole cover go through the radiator in it last week. They have to run it, so like, I'm out on Day probably.
Yeah, Jones, I don't know. Starpoli was running okay, and he's running Arca West, but he's not a guy who I'm.
I fucking hate Patrick Starpoli. That guy's dog shit. No offense. I'm gonna unlock with Jesse Love. We're gonna see what happens here.
Let's see what we get.
Oh, SVG! You were right.
See, I told you.
Yes. And Sawalich too. I'm gonna lock in Sawalich too.
Yeah, let's lock in SVG and Sawalich, and then hopefully we get a little slim.
Well, actually. Sawalich or Alfredo? Probably Sawalich over Alfredo.
Sawalich, yes.
Yeah, it's safer.
We hopefully we get a little like Slim Jim and Alfredo.
Slim Jim. I was thinking the same thing. Here we go, folks.
Yeah, let's see what
Drop
happens.
Slim Jim in the chat. Drop Slim Jim in the chat. Let's get good vibes going for it. I would love a Slim Jim, a Zilisch, like a Mayor. A Mayor.
Mayor would be great too. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Last spin. Here we go. Kyle Segan, Honeyman.
Dude, that's all right.
That's okay. It's still
I mean, we got 4 of the best 9 again.
Honestly, yeah. I like it.
Who knows, man? Leland could be a little sneaky. I'd rather bet him at Talladega, but we'll take it at Sonoma.
Hey, ain't bad, man. Out here on the fantasy spin streets. Let's fire that drop up one more time. What do you say? Here we go.
Spin, pick, win.
Thanks again for watching the show tonight. We want to remind you of everything that's going on now with the change of FSAN and In Between Media. To find us, you just stay right here, FSAN Fantasy Racing Advice Network. To find the football show, go to the Fantasy Football Advice Network FSAN channel over there. 19th Hole is on the Fantasy Golf channel. In Between Media will stay as a brand for the entertainment content. So you get Popcorn and Root Beer sticking around over there, and a new show coming soon that I'm real excited to see that.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, man. We got a busy summer. We're already like, can you believe it's almost July already? Like the 4th of July weekend, next weekend, I just got the memo. FP were shutting down for the day on Friday. So a little bit of an early weekend there. But yeah, I mean, I can't believe we're already here. Like I said, high school reunion this weekend, 10 years. Time rolls quick out here, especially when you're gambling and hitting on some cars, baby. So appreciate everyone who's been rocking and rolling and ripping with us throughout all the fun this season, man. It's been a blessing.
Time flies when you're having fun. Don't fly too fast rolling on those back roads with us. But, hey, we're hoping you have the best of luck with your bets at Sonoma. We'll see you next time.